Hello, everyone. Welcome to another insightful episode of the Expert Edge series, number 6, where I bring you insights from most inspiring and accomplished professionals who can guide you on how to solve your problems by your own or with someone's help. My personal favorite is mindset because everything is related to mindset. So I'm into mindset transformation. And today I have with me Saloni, who is a confidence coach. So basically, what she deals with is vulnerability, which is very important topic. And according to her, vulnerability is power. So how you can break free from the fear and achieve the fulfillment in life. So she is a confidence coach. She has been empowering women to unleash their inner strength. So welcome to the show, Saloni. Thanks a lot for making it today.
Thank you for asking me out, this time. And I really am coming after a very long time. I think that this was very much needed here.
Wow. So, Saloni, just for the audience, I know you from the very bottom of my heart, but just for audience sake, can you just give a brief introduction about yourself?
So, yes, this is Saloni, and I am a women's confidence coach, from the age of 25 to 35. And I've chosen this topic very consciously, actually. The story starts from myself as well. When I was going through that phase, and I'm still in that phase, in that age bracket, and I can see that there are so many women, including myself, at one point of time, we didn't realize how we lose our confidence to the validation of the outside world, and that how it hampers our mindset, our day to day life. So I think many women are in the same boat. And I would rather say, I would not generalize it as a gender, but there are certain things which is not even gender specific. That is how it is. And that is something which is bothering a lot or disturbing a lot of people. So in my environment, I met a lot of women in my office colleagues. I also work, right? I have a job as well. Then I can talk about my friends, female friends around me, and I talk to even strangers wherever I'm going, and if I'm meeting someone. So one thing is which is very common is that everyone right now is going through a very common thing called anxiety. Now, most of the time, what people think is, what's the problem? Why are you so anxious? No, it's not a big deal. You think positive. There's
Mhm.
not a big problem in your life that you should be feeling anxious about. Everything doesn't have to have a logic about things, right? I have faced relationship anxieties in my life, and majority of the people nowadays are facing that.
Mhm.
When you meet someone and you feel that amazing chemistry, and you feel that, okay, this is the one, but
Mhm.
then it doesn't go anywhere, and suddenly there is a void. Now when you go ahead and you realize that this is not working anymore, because you both are very two different people, right? But even after knowing that this relationship is not healthy, even after knowing that it is not going anywhere and this is not the right person for you, we still stick to that feeling, that we are
Right.
not able to leave them, right? And I'm not talking only about the singles. I'm talking even about the married people, right? That all are stuck in either unhappy relationships, unhappy marriages, but still they're not able to get out of it even after having that awareness. So
Mhm.
my today's topic would be how to deal with those kind of anxieties which we have.
Mhm. So
So
basically,
different.
yeah,
Mhm.
basically we are talking about the relationship anxiety. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
correct. So, but that is one of the subtopics of the confidence coaching which I talk about with the women. So I would rather here say in general as well, but more specific to the women.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, Saloni, for the introduction. And my question would be, what I have seen is many people struggle with relationship anxiety, and which can
Mhm.
manifest as overthinking, fear of abandonment, or constant need for reassurance. So, how can
Correct.
someone recognize the signs of a relationship anxiety in themselves? So, what are those traits or characteristics?
So usually what happens when it happens for one time, maybe, when it's very initial, you think that, okay, maybe this is not working. It will be a next one. I will think, a better one. We will find a better one. We will find a better one. But there's no guarantee. When it becomes a pattern, you see that, it's not going anywhere. The next relationship you are falling into is also, going in vain in the same way. Probably you have even married to a person, you have manifested that person in your environment and you have married them, and then you get to realize that okay, we are completely two opposite people and this is not happening, right? This the first symptoms of anxiety is that you are initially you're not sure, you are anticipating all the time, what's happening, where is it going, there is no surety.
Trying to
And
accommodate.
exactly, you try everything either to change yourself to accommodate to the person's need. And
Mm-hmm.
even if you're not, even if you're leaving, if you are on the other end of the spectrum who is saying that let's stop this here, still you are not able to get out of this feeling, because most of the people have this very fear and insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
If not this, then
That,
what? you know
yeah.
this
Mm-hmm.
could be one of the best relationship I would have been into, right? I might not get someone better than this,
Mm-hmm.
right? If I put all my efforts into this might work. Maybe the other person is going to change, but the fact is nothing changes. It is you who has to take the accountability. The first step towards it is accountability. That the problem lies, there is a problem. First of all, there is the accountability that there is a problem. Majority of us shuns anxiety as something which is like something we are thinking negative or we are overthinking. But I have read a lot, and then I realized it is not that it is just about getting the wrong people or falling into a wrong relationship. It comes more with your mindset as well, the more with your mental wiring as well, the kind of energy you are vibrating from within. And
Mm-hmm.
most of them you don't even choose. When
Mm-hmm.
I was dealing with this, I'm actually, I'll tell you that I have also been through therapy and medication for the same. And I'm absolutely okay to, share this in front of everyone, that if there is
That
a
is
problem,
vulnerability. That is
that
vulnerability.
is exactly what I did. I made that my power. That it's okay. It's okay that even I am vulnerable, right? Unless and until you accept it, you will not take an accountability for the same. We will
Mm-hmm.
keep on blaming our situations, our destiny, the other person, that this is not going anywhere. Probably they are like this. Probably someone else is like this. Probably I would have said something better than they would have been in my life. Probably I would have done something better than they would have been in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But the trust is nothing will go well unless and until you realize that the healing or the change begins from you.
Mm-hmm.
The first, and then the second step comes the acceptance. Now there is an awareness that, okay, there is something wrong, because you have to realize the patterns of your relationships. What
Mm-hmm.
kind of relationships you're falling, one after the other, which it took me a very long time to realize.
Mm-hmm.
Even I was in that mindset, okay, this is not working, probably the other person is like this is
Mm-hmm.
not working because xyz things are not working here, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that. But then I saw that there is a pattern to the relationships which is happening again and again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
Then I stopped. I like introspected what has happened, and majority of the things are something which is not even in your control, because it's your subconscious wiring from your
Mm-hmm.
childhood traumas,
Mm-hmm.
from your past relationships. It is very subconsciously ingrained in you. I'll give you a very small example in layman language, and how my audience can understand that we are wired always, from our childhood, majority of us, to have seek validation. Now
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you examples of like what kind of people do, what did they do to seek that validation. If a person thinks like, if I help more, if I give more, probably
Mm-hmm.
I will be more accepted by the other, by the society, by the other person.
True. Yeah.
For my case, I would rather say, right, as a personality, I'm a challenger. We are born to fight. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, I would rather say if I show them that I'm so strong, probably I will be more attractive to them. They will accept me. They will
Mm-hmm.
be there with me. There will be people who think that, if they keep peace in the relationship and always not fight into it, not have any arguments, not show their vulnerable sides, not show them that they are weak, then they will be accepted. Otherwise, they won't be. Some people
Mm-hmm.
think if they are very practical, very career oriented, something, then only they will be accepted. So
Mm-hmm.
there, different people have different mindset of
Perceive.
their own
Yeah.
validation.
How they
They
perceive
have
them.
their own, how you perceive them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, we are humans.
Mm-hmm.
We have made a picture that unless and until we achieve something, we will not be loved. Unless and until we do something, we will not be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
We will never be accepted as the way we are, with all our flaws as well. And we are wired, like society wise, culturally, and also through our childhood, we are wired like that. I also thought, even if I don't feel that I'm strong, the other person will think, okay, she is weak, and then it was in my mind that they will not accept me. They will not love me. I will not be lovable.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes, and when we talk about it, how to deal with it, and when we talk about self-love, self-compassion, it is not about indulging in, like, I don't care about anyone, it is only me, I'm alone, and that's fine and everything. No, it is not like that, that I'm okay, I'm fine, I have to be alone. If you desire for a healthy relationship, and that's a desire and an absolutely normal desire to have a
It
healthy,
has to
fulfilling relationship.
it has to come from a place of humbleness and being vulnerable, then from ego and attitude, right?
Absolutely. And it should also come from the space of self compassion, and from self compassion or self love. What I understood in my journey, and by listening to the journeys of other people, it is more about accepting. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay if I'm vulnerable. It's okay if I'm feeling certain emotions. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay that I'm not able to get out of the feeling of the other person, even after knowing that the person is not there in my life anymore. They don't even care anymore, but it is
Mm-hmm.
my emotions, and
Mm-hmm.
it requires as much love as my any other emotions would have.
Mm-hmm.
If I have achieved something, I love myself for that, right? We say, okay, we have achieved, there's happiness, there's joy. But if we fail something, why can't we love ourselves in that phase as well?
Yeah.
It's also a part of life, right? So we have to learn the self compassion. First step in acceptance, and
Mm-hmm.
second step is taking accountability. Okay, if this is not working, it has not worked before as well, right? Doing the same thing again and again and
Something
expecting a
needs to be
different result,
changed. Something needs.
nothing will change, right? Yes. So I would rather say, be shamelessly, take that accountability. Okay, it was, I am the issue. Even when we say, na, probably it is my fault, I'm not worth it. Take the accountability, but not in the form of it as my fault. Okay, take the accountability in the form that, okay, there is certain triggers in my life which
Mm-hmm.
needs to be healed. There are
Correct.
certain things, there are certain wounds in my life, scars in my life, due to my subconscious wiring of what has happened to your childhood. There can be n number of experiences. When we talk about, our experiences shape our mindsets, right? Our beliefs, the kind of belief we go with. Probably if
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good looking enough, the person will not accept me. So you
Mm-hmm.
you try to be, what happens when you think about it, you try to be over
Hiding.
indulgent and over pleasing. Yes, over pleasing, that
Mm-hmm.
I'll do anything to please the other person, just
Mm-hmm.
because we were never told how to love ourselves, in a way,
Yeah.
how to accept ourselves. If you cannot accept your own self, how can you
Mm-hmm.
accept the other person is going to accept you? How can you
Yeah.
assume that, or how can you expect that, right?
Yeah, very rightly highlighted, Saloni, as we talk about if we are not confident with our own self, we will not be happy.
Absolutely.
And if we are not happy, we cannot make the other one happy as well. So it is like
Absolutely.
broken relationship from the very beginning, right? The moment you are
Right.
entering the relationship, you're already it's already broken. So my next question would be regarding on the similar lines, what role does self-confidence play in overcoming relationship anxiety, or you can say that can building self-confidence help someone
Mhm.
manage their fears and insecurities in their relationship?
I think self confidence is the very first and the major step towards that. Because if you are not confident about your own self, if I am not confident about my own self, I will not seek out things which I really want in my life. For example, if I am vulnerable and I felt that I need help, if I'm not confident that I'm going to, it is your self awareness which makes you more confident, right? I took out for help. As I went through therapy, I went for medication, right? I realized that help is needed. If I am vulnerable, I have to give myself that kind of love which I would have been expecting from the other person. When we expect that, the person should ask me how is about my days, how it went, uh, if they want to know about, if you are good, or if you are okay or not. We have those expectations from the people we love, or people we feel that, we want to be with, right? But do we actually ourselves ask that questions ever every day to us? Am I feeling okay or not? Am I feeling loved or not? Today, am I feeling happy or not? So if not, then what I can do to deal with this? And then you start seeking answers for that. It is not about, when we seek answers, but probably in the wrong directions, but because we ask the wrong questions. We
Mm-hmm.
mostly probably ask the wrong question. When will I get the other person? When will I get to be in a healthy relationship? Will I get this? When will I achieve that and everything? The question is, how am I feeling at right in the moment? If I'm in a relationship and I'm feeling anxious, if I'm not feeling peaceful, then what I can do to change that within me first rather than
Mm-hmm.
the other person, right? Even if I have even it takes courage to get out of something as well, especially if
Correct.
you are very bonded in that relationship. It
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot of courage. Many people, I was reading somewhere and I saw it somewhere that majority of the people will avoid difficult conversations. They
Mm-hmm.
will not want to have difficult conversations in a relationship, and that is really, really important. A
Mm-hmm.
relationship cannot just go on very shallow conversations and just the happy go lucky moments. It has to
Mm-hmm.
have deep, difficult conversations. If you are not able to portray your emotions, and if you always be in a constant fear, if I
Mm-hmm.
tell that person that I'm vulnerable, if I tell that person, okay, I'm feeling like this, the person is either going to go away or not going to accept that. That is where self confidence come into the picture. That I have to be confident enough to come
Mm-hmm.
out with my fear, my insecurities, and have the courage to deal with it. Maybe you not do not know exactly how you are going to deal with it, and then absolutely fine. It's not
Mm-hmm.
that you have to know everything all at once, right?
Sure.
Healing is a process. It's not
Mm-hmm.
a one day thing. It's not that you're going to heal today and everything will be all right for the next 50 years of your life. There will be
Mm-hmm.
something else which you will require. Okay, this is also something where I need to heal. But one step at a time. If you don't know, that's absolutely fine. But the will to figure out how I want to do it, where am I going to head, how am I going to feel happy, or how I can elevate my state of mind. And that is important. That is where self confidence comes, where you are not afraid to come out of your flaws, your fundamental negativities, anything, just with the fear that you will not be accepted. That
Mm-hmm.
comes from the point of self confidence, self compassion, and that is what self love to me is. Accepting and loving all your versions, and then
Mm-hmm.
realizing what really needs to be healed, and then working towards it. And it could be a trial and error. It is
Mm-hmm.
always a trial and error. Trust me, it is always a trial and error. There is no one way that if one thing works for Jyoti, will the same thing will work for Saloni.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing cannot work for all the 700 billion people in the world. Everyone has their unique set of problems, unique mindsets, the way they are wired, experiences, everything. There has to be, you have to see everything, how a person is shaped in their journey. And that is where you will start the unwiring journey. Like
Mm-hmm.
if Jyoti is going through a different phase and Saloni is going through a different phase, one common factor will not be able to work for both of them.
Yeah, very nicely explained, Saloni, how self-confidence plays a very important role. What I have realized, looking at the people around who are in relationship, when they enter the relationship, they have very rosy pictures in their mind, and they
Mhm.
miss to set boundaries. Hey, this is allowed and this is not allowed. This I
Mhm.
can do or this I cannot do. And at the same time, navigating your own expectations, right? And
Correct.
setting up
Absolutely.
healthy boundaries, that is really important, and that is the root cause for all the breakups and everything that is happening. So how
Mhm.
can someone who have not done all these things with relationship anxiety navigate their own expectations and those of their partners to be in a healthy and fulfilling relationships?
Actually, you have touched upon a very, very important point is healthy boundaries. So
Mm-hmm.
most people, sometimes I'll give you an example. When people say there's a difference between being honest and being rude. No,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very straightforward. Whatever I say, I say. No, that is now not how things work. Being honest does not give you the leverage to be rude, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you can say whatever comes into your mind, which might even hurting to the other people, right? With the intent. Being honest is being honest to yourself about your feelings, and setting healthy boundaries means that you have to have a healthy communication with the other person, to let you know that this is something which is acceptable to you and this is something which is not acceptable to you, right? And if something has to come on a negotiating and common ground, if the other person wants A and you want C, that you both have to come to B, right? So I feel that healthy communication can resolve 99% of the problems. When I say about difficult conversation, that is where this picture comes from. Difficult conversation is actually telling them their boundaries, because you yourself are afraid that if I tell the person about my boundaries, it will scare them off. And if that scares them off, anyway, they're not for you. Because a healthy conversation, coming up with your fears, coming up with your different versions, if that scares the person off, then they are not definitely not for you anyway. A person who is right for you will be listening, will be understanding, and will be coming to a common ground with you, and they will be equally communicative. So I think communication is the biggest key to set those healthy boundaries, and you have to be courageous enough to know what is acceptable to you and what is not acceptable to you. That is very important, and how to communicate that in a healthy way with the other person. And I know it's not always that you have communicated, and if it's not working out and you are feeling okay, fine, nahi ho raha hai, to chalo, tada bye bye. You still will have those feelings, because there are certain things you bond with the other person. There had been certain things which you were looking around or seeking around, you were getting from the other person. If not 100 of things, maybe even in 100, if you're getting 10 things, that's strong enough to actually create that attachment. But then it could be a trauma bonding as well. When you feel that pattern of the same relationship where you are attached, getting attached, and it is going nowhere, and still you are attached, and still you are holding on to that particular relationship even after knowing that's not correct. Probably you are trauma bonding. You have your own traumas, which is very familiar to you, that the feeling or the emotions of pain, or that whatever you're feeling. Like I've seen people saying that I don't want to be in a toxic relationship, but unless and until there is a drama in their relationship, they feel that there's no joy in that relationship. They actually create those dramas, right? Because the mind knows about it, and it will always try to create something which is known to it. So they don't know how a healthy relationship looks like. So whenever something, a healthy relation, a person comes to their life and show them that healthy relationship, they don't know how to navigate through that, because they have never ever worked upon their own selves. They have never even realized what exactly is separating, toxic for them and what is healthy for them. Right? So the very basic step, or the very first step, is communication. Communication, and you have to communicate with yourself as well. If I'm
Yeah,
not feeling good, if this is not working out again and again, what exactly I really need to change? And the change has to come from within, rather than from the other person or from the external environment. Once that change comes from within, initially might not be able to look at it, but definitely with time you will be able to see your surrounding changing.
Yeah, very nicely explained, Saloni. That got reminded me of a friend of my friend who was in this toxic relationship from 19 years of his life. He's a guy, right?
Okay.
So he is in the relationship. The lady used to abuse, do not used to take care of anything. He used to work for 8, 10, 12 hours in the office and then comes home, takes care of all the household stuff on his own, right, including cooking food for the lady who is a housewife right now, right? So this person used to handle everything with a hope, with a thought that things will get changed. And this thought took 10 years of his life to be in this relationship. After 10 years, this person thought that maybe we are not having, and this lady has been admitted to physical asylum, something, mental asylum
Mental
for,
asylum.
yeah, mental asylum thrice in her life. And then to this person was attached to her, was not ready to, he was in the hope that it is gonna end someday. And after 10 years, with the intention that maybe after having a baby this lady will change, did not happen, right? The kid was also a responsibility of the father now, apart from job, household, and now the kid, right? So now he has to wait for at least a reasonable age, like 5 years to 6 years, so that he can ask for the custody or take the child. Because whenever there is a fight used to happen, this lady used to take the son. as a
Hmm.
custodian, in the sense that if you are not going to do this, I will harm your child, and then I will see what you're going to do. All those
Hmm.
trauma this person was going through. And in a society like we are in, this person was always in fear that maybe no one will trust my story, no one will trust my
Hmm.
story. The kid became 8 to 9 years of age, and that's when he got the courage to file for
Hmm.
divorce, to file for the custody. So I just want to highlight this, is that through that, it is not always the females who have to go through all the traumas and whatever is happening in their life. Many a times men are also victims of the situation. So at 90% of the women that we know,
Hmm.
90% of the women are like the lions and tigers in their field. However, once they reach home, they are like cats, right? They have been tamed in that way. So basically,
Absolutely. Yes.
and they do not raise their voice at all. They have been
Hmm.
facing it. They are trying to be strong at workplace, and while they are home, they have to go through these trauma every day.
Right.
And then, as you rightly highlighted, they do not use their voice or set an expectation, or do not take any step at all. So as a confidence coach, what do you think, how can you empower women to address this relationship anxiety or issues, or any particular technique or exercises that the females should be doing to unleash their inner strength?
Uh, as you rightly said, it is not gender specific. Even in the starting of the, this, meeting, I said that it is not gender specific, but majority when we say like this happens, it can happen to a male as well, and it can happen to a female as well. However,
Mhm.
male and female wiring are different. Their
Correct.
emotional wiring is different. Their physical wiring is different. So I would not be able to say much about how things work. But then one thing is common to both male and female where they can actually take up a stand is to have courage to first accept.
Mhm.
Majority of the people, as you rightly said, culturally we are ingrained like that, right? As a country, I don't think that we are very expressive. Culturally,
Correct.
we are not a very expressive country. I've seen majority of the people cannot express because at some point in their childhood, they were never taught to express, or even when they did, they were stopped from expressing. Now
Mhm.
that creates a very barrier or a hamper to their mindset that if I express, either I will be shut down, or
Mhm.
either I will be ignored, or whatever you can think of, whatever has happened to them. And they
Mhm.
have started with that belief only that we should not be expressive enough. And that's
Mhm.
going on, in a loop, one generation after generation after generation. Even I've met so many people who are stuck just because they cannot voice their concerns.
Mhm.
And even if I say, what will happen? If the
Mhm.
person leaves, what will happen? Where will I go? So there's a lot of fear. Where will I go? What will happen to me if I tell the person about
What
my
people will say.
expectations, what they are going to say, and what the society is going to say, what my boss is going to say, what my husband or wife is going to say, what my father and mother is going to say, what my children is going to say. Trust me, even if you set boundaries or if you don't set boundaries, they're still going to say. Because
Mhm.
if you don't set the boundaries and if you're not able to communicate that well, it will show in your action. It will show in
Mhm.
your frustration. It will show in your
Correct.
anger. It will show in your irritation. You might not say, the words might not say, but the action will speak louder than words at that time, right?
Mhm.
And they still are going to say that the person is such a rude person. That person is
Mhm.
such a selfish person. The person,
Mhm.
they will not realize that what is making them rude, what is making them the kind of
Mhm.
person they are right now. So it's very, very important to address what is bothering you. It's very important to address what are you seeking for, unless and until you seek what you want to seek, what you want to seek will not seek you as well.
Mhm.
I believe that the universe has its own way of working. It will, make you in very uncomfortable situations. It will put you into a very uncomfortable situation so that you can get out of there and be where you exactly had to be. So we
Mhm.
we hold on to every experiences of ours, every situations of our life, because we don't want to, we fear the uncertainty. What if I
Mhm.
don't hold it? What will happen? Right? What if I fall down? what if something bad happens to me? Because mind knows that comfort, even if it's
Comfort.
a pain. Even the comfort of pain is also a comfort. I've
Mm-hmm.
realized this. Many people are comfortable in their pain because
Mm-hmm.
they know mind knows how to deal with the pain, but they don't know what if they do something different, how the mind is going to react, because it's a very unfamiliar territory for them in a
Mm-hmm.
way. So it's
Right.
very, even if you do, even if you express, even if you don't express, you are
Mm-hmm.
still being judged by the society. You are still being judged by the people around you. So it's
Mm-hmm.
better that in that way, accept, be vulnerable, be self compassionate to yourself, have the courage to speak up. And if
Mm-hmm.
it scares someone, that person is definitely, or that thing is definitely not for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because honesty and genuinity only scares of people who are fake. People
Mm-hmm.
who genuinely want to be in your life and they love you the way you are and they want to
Mm-hmm.
accept you will accept you no matter
Mm-hmm.
what. In fact, that acceptance is going to be even more genuine because now they know what the person is looking for. Now they know what I am looking for, and there is a very genuine conversation which happened between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is not happening, there are certain times you cannot even get out. As you said, there was a kid involved in your story, right? Even if the person wants, the other person is like, I'm going to harm your kid. You're not able to get out of it. There are
Mm-hmm.
times which that happens as well. Then what will you do in those moments, right? I have friends who have kids and even they don't feel like sometimes, they are very disturbed and bothered by the situations in their life. But the kid is involved. What should I do? What should I do? And at that time, there's only one thing which I say. The tool, as you said, is to first accept and seek out for help. How to
Mm-hmm.
be more self-compassionate towards yourself. And you have to tell yourself daily that it's okay. Even if I'm not strong one day, and it's okay. At least the strength doesn't lies in achieving things. The strength lies in not getting defeated also. At times,
Mm-hmm.
even if I'm moving even a half a inch in my day-to-day life,
Mm-hmm.
when if I don't even feel like coming out of my bed also,
Mm-hmm.
that's also a kind of achievement you have.
Yeah, so
Sometimes
yeah.
just doing very normal things that, or making your bed and everything, that could be an achievement as well. So you
Mm-hmm.
really have to first pat on your back for most of the things because you have made it so far. When I
Mm-hmm.
was going through this therapy, my therapist told me, what, Saloni, you have made this, made so far. You should be, patting your back. You should be proud of the fact that you made so far. Many people don't even make it so far, right? Because they're not
Mm-hmm.
even aware that, how to make it so far.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Right.
it's
So
very important that we do that.
yeah. So suddenly, what I when I went through my relationship breakups and everything, what I understood is people do have a habit of saying what people will think, what people will
Mm-hmm.
say, how they will
Mm.
perceive you that you have this problem, you're
Validation, 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 and
Yes,
validation.
exactly. So I made up my mind at that point in time that if someone is not paying my bills, then their
Mm.
opinion doesn't matter to me, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
that's the state of mind I keep myself that if this person XYZ, whatever he thinks, let him think, man.
Even
It's
if
not
they are paying your bill, even if they are paying your bill, still some boundaries are set which cannot be crossed. Even
correct.
if they are
No,
paying your bill.
yeah, rightly said. But
Yeah.
your family can pay your bill, maybe your
Right.
loved one, not the outside
Correct.
world, right?
Not the
They
outside world.
Right. So that's the primary that I have always perceived myself with. And the next thing that I wanted to highlight is, people advocate about women freedom and literacy and a lot of things, education and all. And these people who are out there in the market, they are treating people, their spouse, their partners in that particular way, right? So it is very important for us. What I think is it is very important for us to understand the space. Where are you coming from? Are you talking, are you walking the talk or talking the walk? You need to understand before making any judgments. What is your understanding?
Absolutely. People have faces, right? The one you will see in the office and the one same person in the house, same person with the friends, same person with some other, organization. They will have different facets. So
Mhm.
it depends upon the where you exactly are. But what should not change with the place is your own fundamental intent of being as a human. Like if I want to be polite, no matter if I am at my office, no matter if at my home, no matter if I'm meeting with my friends, that should not change. right?
Mhm.
Your way of conducting yourself will change. Obviously, the way you are at home with your people, with your family members, you will not be the same as in the office. But it cannot be that you are in the home, you are a very loving person and you're loving your family, and when you go to office, you are just shouting at your subordinates,
Mhm.
right? So conduct will be different, but intent has to be the same.
Wow,
How you
that's a
conduct yourself in your day-to-day life, with what intent, with how you know, that is something which comes from you, and that you have to realize how you want your life to be. Like, if
Mhm.
I see that, if I am someone, if I'm shouting at someone, will I like when someone shouts at me too? If not, don't go for it. You
Yeah.
might feel agitated once, like, if it is required at all, that's a different thing. But if it is not required, just because out of habit, because if I don't shout, they will not work. If I don't
Mhm.
do this, they will not do that. So it is how you conduct depends purely on your intent, and that doesn't changes with the places.
Mhm.
Your fundamental never changes with the places.
Yeah.
If you
And
have
so
integrity within you, it will reflect in all the areas of your life.
correct. And Saloni, what I have also realized during my coaching journey is, a lot of times it so happens that when you
Mhm.
are in a relationship, starting 3, 4, 6 months or a year, you are always in a habit of appreciating or acknowledging the other one. You did
Right.
good. Pat at the back is important. Whatever you did good, it is all rosy, rosy. Once you
Mhm.
are in the relationship, once you enter the relationship, you take those things for granted. So what happens is this person has set an expectation that he is expecting something good. If he's doing this task, he's expecting something
Yes,
good, and in return he's not getting that. So that diminishes his interest or his bonding as well. So
absolutely
that is
right.
so how we behave at the start of the relationship, if we can continue the momentum, it will go down. But if we can continue the momentum, we will have a much, much better relationship than we are talking about, right?
I believe that most of the people don't even understand that what they are seeking from a relationship, what are the intent with which they want to be in a relationship. So I think it's, again, I said, we seek answers and that's good, but in the wrong direction, because we are asking ourselves the wrong question. We are asking what I want from a relationship with the other person, what I am expecting from them, rather
Mm-hmm.
than the question is what I should expect from this relationship. What am I
Mm-hmm.
seeking in this relationship, right? And the conversation has to go around that. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeking peace in this relationship, if I'm seeking stability in that relationship, am I having the kind of conversation with the other person what I'm seeking for? Am I
Yeah.
having the kind of intent with which I want to be in the relationship with the other person? So first
Mm-hmm.
you have to understand what you are looking for in a relationship, and different people could have different reasons for a relationship. I know someone who just straightforward said, I need money. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be in a relationship with someone who is rich. I want money. Okay. And then we
Mm-hmm.
are very quick to jump and judge, okay, the person is a gold digger, probably. But they are
Mm-hmm.
seeking, they are very upfront about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
At least being upfront and
They
honest
mentioned
that this is something I'm
right.
seeking. Then, if a person who knows that this person is seeking this thing and they're being honest, if it is acceptable to me, I will go into that relationship. If it is not
Mm.
acceptable to me, I will not go into that relationship.
Yeah.
That's the reason it fades out, because we never have those conversations in the start. It is always passion, it is always the chemistry, and
Mhm.
it is always the dopamine, oxytocin, whatever you can say, which gets released when you are in a relationship, in the initial phases of a
Mhm.
relationship, which will go down once, because when it's initial, you will see every rosy picture
All
in that
positive
relationship,
things, right? Mhm.
all positive things, that butterflies, that everything. But when you actually get to know the person day by day, you will see the flaws they have. And then you will, okay, I didn't ask for this. I didn't sign up for this. I didn't knew this. Obviously,
Mhm.
you will not know, because everyone will try to put the best picture. You will be able
Correct.
to put the best picture for a month, two, three. But how long will you be able to do that? So the
Mhm.
question is to come like, I want to see all the versions, so that to understand what am I dealing with, and am
Mhm.
I do I want to deal with it, and if I have that kind of capacity to deal with this versions of people, right? If
Mhm.
I'm seeking stability, and if I meet a person who is not stable at all, Okay.
Mhm.
So do I have the capacity to deal with such kind of a person?
Correct.
If not, I have to really ask that question to myself. And I
Mhm.
have to have a communication with the other person to understand what can I get from that relationship as well. There's nothing called selfless love. Trust me, even a parent children love is something which is a give and take for as well, right? There's nothing called selfless love. It is only about healthy love. It is not about selfless love. It
What is
is
the
about healthy love.
barter? What is the barter you are bringing to the
What
table?
is the barter you wanted? If you are seeking finances, if you are seeking love, if you are seeking emotions, I'm a person who is mostly seeking emotional connection, right? So someone
Mhm.
told me, okay, that person is looks like this, that person doesn't earn that much, and I'm like, "Hey, that's fine. Even I'm earning, the other person is earning. Obviously money is important, but I will make a life with him. But then if I do not have a connection, an emotional connection with the person, if I cannot even talk to the person, communicate with the person, and if I get a billionaire as well, it will not work for me. So you have
Right.
to see what works for you. Don't
Mhm.
look outside and see, that person found
Did
this
not
kind of
give
a person.
you. Mhm. Mhm.
Exactly. This person got this kind of a person. So I should also get this kind of a person.
Mhm.
If everyone is running after money, I should also run after money. If everyone is, running after looks, chemistry, then I should also look for that connection chemistry. Your journey is completely different to you. You are
So
you. No
I
one is going to replace you.
So that what reminded me of an important instance, Saloni. What happened is one of my coaching clients, right? So this lady was always complaining about husband, what he does, what he does not do. All in complaint
Mhm.
mode. Whenever there was a famous character, her friend, she told me that whenever she's going out, she's just talking negative about the husband. So one day I asked her to do an exercise wherein what are the qualities that you want in your husband. So you
Mhm.
have to write down 15 qualities that you want in your husband.
Mhm.
And she wrote down all those 15. Now I said, pick the ones which you have in yourself, within yourself.
Right.
So if you have those character within yourself, then you can look out for those character traits in your husband. If you do
Then your
not have,
husband.
try to imbibe those characteristics, those traits, and then
Absolutely right.
only expect, because we have a tendency of expecting everything from the outside world, and nothing
Absolutely.
nothing comes from inside.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, so
I say it from the beginning, today, tomorrow, and I think I will be keeping on saying this my whole life. The key to a healthy relationship, a healthy and fulfilling relationship, is not chemistry, it's communication.
mhm.
Chemistry
Right.
fades out, communication will not fade out.
Mhm.
So it's not chemistry, it's communication. It's
Mhm.
very important that you have, first of all, courage to be in that relationship, to have that kind of love in that relationship. Then you have to have compassion
Mhm.
for self and the other person. Otherwise
Mhm.
also it will not work, because you will
Mhm.
keep on expecting, or giving. So there's a concept of giver and receiver,
Mhm.
right? If you keep on giving, you have a glass full of water, and you are giving that water, and it is not getting filled, you will be drained out. So
Mhm.
you have to have that self compassion for yourself and the other person, and you have to have a communication. So I think these three are very important. But before these three, what is more important is to work on yourself. And then
Mhm.
that's where the coaches come into the picture, right?
Mhm.
That is how what we are going to do is we will help you realize exactly your traits, your fundamental beliefs, your wirings, your experiences, what makes you
Patterns.
who you
Mhm.
are right now. Correct?
Mhm.
It's okay. And there has to be a space of compassion where it's okay that if you are a certain way. And
Mhm.
if I heard somewhere if it is that easy, if it would have been that easy to get out of a relationship, it would have been that easy to get out of that emotion, or that feeling of helplessness, desperation, anxiety. I would have done it way much before, right?
Mhm.
Why would I myself want to jump into something which is painful for me? Talking
Mhm.
about anxiety is also very physical. I still remember having, anxiety attacks. There was very bad palpitations, sort of breathlessness. I'm not able to think. I'm not able to process anything. I thought that I'm going to die right now. It was
Mhm.
that bad. But then
Mhm.
it is important to understand that I didn't choose it. If
Mhm.
I didn't want it to be in it. There is
Mhm.
something which is keeping me in that mindset. that means there is something which I need to work upon on myself to elevate my state of mind. That is very, very, very important. And once you
Mhm.
start doing that, majority of the relationships are going to flourish. Asking the
Wow.
right questions, seeking the right things, and understanding, yourself better. But that's the key to a healthy relationship.
So very nicely explained, Saloni. So the bottom line that we are getting is communication is the base of the relationship. If there is a healthy
Yes,
communication, that
absolutely.
will let you be in a healthy state of mind, and try to address how you are feeling and acknowledge it and then work on it. Seek assistance in
Absolutely.
case you require, and be a victor, not a victim. It is for both guys and girls, male and female.
Everyone.
It's for
Exactly right.
everyone. Don't be in the victim zone. At times, if you see that you need any sort of assistance, look for people around, or definitely we all are there together. So, Saloni, fine. Any final piece of knowledge that you want to share before we end up the
Just one
session?
line, which is my tagline: vulnerability is power. The day I have started being vulnerable, accepting it, I feel more powerful then. And I'm
Wow.
not saying things are going to magically disappear from your life, but it will start working out. Once you accept your vulnerability, once you surrender, it's very important. One point, at the last, I would really want my audience to say is surrendering yourself is important sometimes. Faith is required, that leap of faith.
Mhm,
Everything cannot be controlled by your mind. You do not need to know everything.
mhm,
When I thought, how am I going to heal? What am I going to do? And I was getting even more anxious and agitated.
mhm,
Then I was told that you don't have to know everything. Too
mhm,
much of information. I understand information is knowledge, and knowledge is wisdom and power. But too much of something also messes up with your head.
mhm.
You know, take knowledge or take information as much as it is required and work towards it one step at a time.
So
I know so
implementation.
many
Take
implementation
information.
is the key. Implementation is the key. After
Mhm,
accepting, realizing who is going to implement. And it's not going to be that easy also. It's going to
mhm,
be painful. It's going to be chaotic. It's going to be messy. It's going to be very, I would rather say, agitated and anxious as well, right? Then you will feel really anxious, impatient, everything. You will feel angry also. At times, you will feel frustrated. All sort of emotions will be there, trust me. But
mhm,
there will always be light at the other end of the tunnel. Once you
mhm,
go through this, you will absolutely be a changed person for the
mhm,
better. So the
mhm,
only way to deal with the pain is through and go through it, right away into it and get out on the other side of the tunnel instead of suppressing it or avoiding it. The more you suppress, it's going to implode. But then there will be a time your body will start screaming, and
mhm,
you will fall sick, and then you will heal all the same things. So it's better you heal it the moment you are realizing that something is not right, doesn't feels right to you. Always listen
mhm,
to your intuition. It's very important. And sometimes surrender. Surrender that I want to heal.
mhm,
Give this message to the universe, and the
mhm.
universe take care of it. You keep on doing what you really need to do, is to work on
Mhm.
yourself and
Wow.
work in whenever to have that healthy version of yourself. That's very important, and you're going to attract the healthy person in your life. And
Wow.
healthy by means physically, mentally, spiritually. It's very important to ask these questions to yourself, like how mentally or how emotionally or how spiritually I'm aligned with my partner. I'm not saying same. It's an alignment. Am I in alignment with my partner? Because unless and until you are in alignment with your partner on these terms, it's always going
Mhm.
to be chaotic and messy.
Thank you so much, Saloni, for those more insightful moments wherein people will definitely take away a lot of things how to deal with relationships in a healthier way. So thank you so much for coming to my show. And guys, if you're watching this, stay tuned for another exciting episode of Expert Edge, wherein I will come up with experts' thoughts and experts on the panel, wherein we will be talking about a lot about mindset transformation, how it's going to help you personally and professionally. So thanks a lot once again, and thanks
Thank
for
you,
watching.
Jyoti. Yes. Hopefully, this should help a lot of people.